What a night of reckoning it was. The day of reckoning. Wilder versus Parker, Joshua versus Wallin, Dubois versus Miller, MAKMUDOV versus KABAYEL, Sanchez versus Farr. A real great night of heavyweight boxing. You would actually, in the old setup, probably see Wilder and Parker on one night, Joshua and Wallin on another night, MAKMUDOV versus KABAYEL on another night, and then Dubois versus Miller on another night. So that being 4 different Saturday nights, but we got it all on under one roof in one night. And one of the people that
beautiful, that was a beautiful effort by the boxing establishment. I think that was really nice to have. It's a throwback to the old days. Don King was the only kind of guy that used to have done that in history. In the past, he would put on great fights all in one night instead of having to wait years to see these matchups.
Absolutely. Introducing Uncle James Ali Bashir. Uncle, good evening.
Good evening to you.
I know you're excited because obviously you were in the mix. Go ahead.
There, I was there. Saudi Arabia, I was there. I was right in the mix. It was an exciting atmosphere leading up to the fights. In the hotel and in the press conferences and things like that. There, it was very enlightening.
Really was. There's so much to talk about. Let's just talk about Saudi Arabia itself before we actually get into what you're going to talk to us about. Talk to me about Saudi Arabia. Talk to me about what it's like being there first of all, as a Muslim being there. Is there camaraderie between the fellow Muslims? And then Jarrell Miller became a Muslim. I mean, what's going on out there? What's it like?
It was very, very heartwarming and welcoming. I liked it. I enjoyed it. In fact, I spoke with Lennox Lewis, the former heavyweight champion, let me say it again.
Undisputed. Get it right. Undisputed.
And I spoke to him just a couple hours ago, and he expressed his likes and dislikes about the show. He said that he was disillusioned by the watering down, if you will, about the boxing and the boxing trainership and the boxing's approach to each other.
Yeah, I can imagine. Imagine.
He said it was somewhat of a letdown, He said, but I was glad night.
I can imagine him saying something like, I wasn't impressed, with Anthony Joshua. He could have boxed anybody else, but you beat Wallin, it doesn't mean anything. You got to beat Tyson Fury. Beat Zhilei Zhang, beat them. And then I'm impressed. But I'm not impressed with Joshua. I'm definitely not impressed with Wilder. I don't know what he was doing in there with Parker. He needs to hang up the gloves, or he needs a better trainer because, Wilder looked out of there. What did he say, actually? Sorry. I just had to do my Lennox list. What did he actually say to you, Uncle?
He said that he was disillusioned, especially about Deontay Wilder.
He was coming.
He said Deontay was bouncing around the ring as though he were doing an apprenticeship for a ballerina class. He didn't like it.
Malik Scott is to blame for all of that nonsense. I thought he'd come in and be a good trainer, but I'm sorry.
Blame is, I don't know who's to blame.
There's only one person to blame. It's Malik Scott. That's it.
I would assume it was Malik Scott.
But it's obviously some of the rubbish I see Wilder doing in training, like throwing punches and spinning around like a ballerina, stuff like you cannot do in boxing and without yourself getting knocked out. I mean, like he was bending at the waist, and his knees were bending, and he was meeting Parker that's trying to be at the same height as Parker. And I was always told as a heavyweight, being tall, use your height and use your reach. Parker, but he was bending down. And then he was shoulder rolling. Did you see his shoulder roll? He was trying to do Floyd Mayweather. Now, where would you get that stuff from? Wilder doing shoulder roll. Come on, Uncle.
Whatever the case, it was nonsense, and it looked bad.
Nonsense.
Deontay Wilder's behalf. I think that he could have approached the fight in a different way, different tactic, different things that if I were the trainer, I would teach it differently. But every trainer has its own application at that particular time. So yeah, it didn't go very well.
Here's another thing. I'm not being disrespectful. I've spoken to Malik many a times, and I'm not being disrespectful as a fighter, but as a trainer, some of the relaxed, kind of laid back attitude Malik took to his career, but very more relaxed and laid back. Not saying he wasn't a good fighter or a very skillful fighter, but I kind of feel he was laid back. And then he's kind of started training Wilder. Do you feel any of those attributes in terms of him being more relaxed and kind of blasé almost has rubbed off on Wilder, and as their friends, they've made this more of a friendship thing rather than a business professional thing, and where Malik has basically become his yes man. So if Wilder wants to do 3 turns in the ring, Malik will teach him 3 turns in the ring.
I can't say yay and I can't say nay in that particular venue.
Mm-hmm.
Can say the Wilder that I saw last night was signal that the end of his career has arrived. You know, that's not the Wilder that people pay to see.
His mentality, the switch, I didn't see it. Normally there's a switch between Wilder and...
know what the case might be, but I will say that the Wilder was in that ring last night is not the Wilder that people are gonna pay to see. You're not gonna see that. They're not gonna take part in that bit. I know Lennox Lewis himself, I spoke to him not more than 2 hours ago. He said that he didn't like it.
I didn't like it, you know. Uncle, I never liked it.
We're talking about the former undisputed heavyweight champion, whom I maintain a great relationship with. Lennox Lewis and I, we maintain a great relationship. I maintain a relationship with Vladimir Klitschko, and we communicate often. And I every time there's a big fight, I always speak to them directly the morning after,
Okay, let's get into this. I don't know where to, okay, let's start with the elephant in the room. Obviously, you had... Hey, wait, before the elephant in the room, when I was talking to you, and I did that live with you, talking about you and Jarrell Miller, at the time, I would have thought, by the end of close on Friday, you guys would have been together. You would have flown out to Saudi Arabia, but still on Saturday, Sunday, I heard nothing. What happened? What was the whole thing with Jarrell Miller there and you join up? And it looked like there were other trainers there and stuff as well. What was all that about?
I was there to give input, technical input. I wasn't there to train him. I was there to give technical input because Jarrell and I had shared a lot of time together in Austria, in Germany. Over the years, we had shared a lot of time together, and and I respect him likewise. He's a good fighter, and he's very, 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 very respectful to me. So I was there to give input about the do's and don'ts of the bout, and I'm the first to tell Jarrell that, hey man, you can't approach boxing as though it were a game. I'm sure he already knew that there, but then to know is one thing, and to act upon what you know is totally different. And I told him, I said, you cannot approach this game lightly. When you cannot come to the ring at 330 pounds and expect to be effective. No, it's just and Jarrell is very, like I said, he's very respectful to me, He's very respectful to me, and he'll listen to me. He won't take offense like members of the Dubois team took offense to my speaking out. But I'm a teacher, man, and I know nonsense and BS when I see it. And I tell Jarrell, you cannot approach your boxing career with this foolishness. You're at the top level of boxing now. You know, you're at the top level, and you cannot take anybody lightly. I assumed he took Daniel Dubois lightly.
Seriously. Oh, well, that's what ended up happening, yeah.
I think he took him seriously, but I think that he took him lightly in some regard. He took him lightly, and he didn't train. Well, 4 weeks is not a lot of time to get in shape for a major fight like that.
Yeah.
You're fighting a young, powerful, strong, focused lion. I mean, Daniel Dubois had lost in his last fight versus Alexander Usyk, and I could tell anybody it's going to be a difficult fight because he knows that he can't fail tonight. So he's going to be extra tough, mentally and physically. He's a big, powerful puncher. He's a young guy, you know, and he comes to fight. He comes to fight. He's not no walk in the park. I think that Jarrell did himself in many ways, you know.
Yes. Agreed.
Forward, he's going to be a little more disciplined, a little more focused, and he'll come to fight better than what he fought the other night.
I think Jarrell Miller actually has the qualities and the ability to be a world-class heavyweight. If you lose, shifts to 100 pounds, gets a decent trainer in, he could actually do some damage in the heavyweight division. But when you're that big, I just kept thinking to myself, his brain is telling him what to do, but his body's unable to get himself there. So he's not sharp enough. All the punches he was throwing, Daniel was able to sort of slip them by an inch here and there. I thought if you lost by 100 pounds and you were in that same fight again, you'd have stopped Daniel Dubois. Your thoughts?
I don't think that Jarrell could do the things that he desired to do because of his conditioning.
Exactly.
I think that his conditioning is what did him in the long run, because Daniel and Jarrell got into a shootout in one of those rounds. I think it was the fourth or the fifth round. They got a shootout where they expended a lot of energy. They were firing power shots trying to take each other out. And they spent a lot of valuable energy in the process. And I noticed after that Jarrell was hard pressed to mount a viable attack where he could be consistent in that attack.
Exactly.
He had spent so much energy. And I take my hat off to Jarrell Miller because he was in with a big, young, strong, powerful puncher in Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois can punch. And anybody that thinks that he can't punch had better take another look. Jarrell stayed in there, you know, the rounds, critical rounds, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's easy for somebody in the viewing audience or even trainer's corner say, you got to do this, you got to do that, you must do this. I told him in one of the rounds, I said in the 8th round, I said, man, we need 8. And at the end of the 7th round, I told him we need the next 3 rounds. We need these rounds. Then I told him in the 9th round, we need, you know, these next rounds. We need that. We need to win both. Then in the 10th round, I said we need a knockout to win. I felt we needed a knockout to win. So I put the pressure on him. I had to put the pressure on him as a trainer. You know, even though I wasn't the chief trainer in the corner, my emotion made me speak out, you know. I said to him that we need a knockout to win this fight. And for Jarrell to go those rounds after that 4th round or 5th round shootout was amazing. but he never said quit. He never said
That's
that
what I'm saying.
my toe is hurting or my neck is hurting or my back. He said, yes, I'm going to do it. Every round he said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. He went out to fight. So I got to respect that because he was dead tired.
That's what I'm saying. He's a world class. That's a world class effort there. Considering his weight and how overweight he was, to be able to hang in there with Daniel Dubois, who was punching him from pillar to post. You know, he was going from. They were going at it, and he was able to keep up with Dubois with that weight and show durability and show. You know, it's incredibly difficult when you're winded and you're tired to keep in there.
You said the key words. Because if the boxing is the only sport / business ever been involved with in my entire life, but watched the NBA playoffs and I watched the efforts working to get to the Super Bowl, and I remember one of the great coaches of the NFL, I think his name was Vince Lombardi. You know, he was the coach for the Green Bay Packers. And he said in one of his statements before he died, he said, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And that's on my mind all my life. I could never forget him saying it there. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. When you're dead tired, you're dead tired. I remember having a street fight with another man, and he was besting me in the street fight. He was beating me at every turn because I was exhausted. I was tired. So he started picking up momentum. He started getting the best of me. So I said, this thing is not going well, you know, and I was thinking about the things that I had to do in my life, and I can't afford to get injured here. So I said, it's better to succumb and say, hey, look, you won. That's it. I'm tired. I was tired. I was so tired. It felt like my lungs was on fire. And the guy kept insisting that we could go on. I said, listen, man, you won the fight. It's over. Done. I'm kaput. I'm ready to go home now. Stop this. He said, no, we're going to keep going. I said, listen, man, do you want me to injure you really bad? Maybe bite your nose off or bite your ear off? He said, I said, well, you better leave me alone because I'm dead tired. And I'm telling you, I'm ready to go to another level now. This thing is over. I'm telling you, leave me alone or I'm going to bite your nose off. I'm going to bite your ear off. That's how tired I was. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was done. I couldn't hardly lift my arms up. But I could bite. Wasn't nothing wrong with my teeth and me biting. And that's the level I was. That was the level.
You get to.
Look, leave me, right?
Yeah, I get that.
I got across to him. He understood. He sort of looked at my eyes. He said, okay, man, that's it. Okay, yeah, we're good. Now let you go home and I go home. We both alive. We not. He had a black eye, a couple of knots on my head, but that comes with fighting.
So true. Yeah.
He had a cut lip and busted nose and a black eye or something, you know. But we went home. But if you keep coming, I'm going to have to do something else to get you off me, you know.
Yeah,
so
of course.
So for Jarrell Miller to persevere and go on, you know, round after round after round after round like that, there.
Mental strength.
Plenty of dig down. Plenty that would make him.
Take 100 pounds off that guy and a good trainer. This guy could become heavyweight champion of the world. No doubt.
No doubt. No doubt.
In my mind, no doubt.
Jarrell Miller has what it takes.
And
it took the loss to Daniel Dubois I'm sure, to open his eyes. You know, he's got to surrender himself to a trainer. When I say surrender himself, I remember going back, you know, working with Alexander Usyk, working with Lennox Lewis, working with Vladimir Klitschko. There were times that people stood that would go away from the camp and he would leave me in charge. I would tell him, hey, man, you know, you have to do 12 rounds today instead of doing 10. He said, well, why I got to do 12 rounds? Why I got to do 15 rounds? I said, because you never know
when you need it.
When this fight is going to get tough. You know, and when one fighter jumps on another fighter, he can make you spend 3 rounds worth of energy in 1 round. Then the next round, he comes out the same thing. He can make you spend another 3 rounds worth of energy in just 2 rounds. So the backup rounds is the 12 and 15. If you do that in the training camp, you'll be prepared. Boxers got to understand that the trainers have as much at stake in their efforts as they do inside of the ring.
It brings me back to something that I did. My trainer did with me years ago. When you're dog tired, he'd bring in 3 fresh sparring partners, and you're dog tired, and usually get guys that are heavier than you. So you, during those times where you're dog tired, you just had to use your feet and move, and you just the fear of getting hit made you move. He said, "Good, you're dog tired. Now's the time you have to fight."
I think, you know, that many people describe me as too old-fashioned, but I think the old-fashioned method is the best way. It's the best methods, because I see a lot of the conditioning guys. They have the boxer doing this, they're skipping ropes and running around cones and this and that. All well and good. I'm not saying that it
hasn't got its place.
It's not a good thing, but I'm not saying it also is the best thing. I think that the boxers should do things that's relegated towards what they're going to be doing on that particular
in the ring.
All right.
I agree with you totally.
No, you get in the ring and you like you said, you bring in the fresh sparring partners. With Vladimir Klitschko, we'd bring in one guy for 2 rounds and then take him out, and then we put another guy in for 3 rounds and take him out. Then we bring back the first guy for another 2 rounds, and a fresh guy for 1 round. Then we bring, we kept changing the face of the sparring partners to make them dig down in themselves to rise up to a level. Yes. And a lot of boxers don't like that. A lot of boxers don't like that. A lot of boxers do not like constructive criticism. And that's what I do. I give it to them raw. Look, this is what you need to do. And if you're not doing this here, then it's bullshit. All right? And matter of fact, I'm going to pack my shit and I'm going to go tonight. I'm out of here. You can get somebody else to do this here. Because I'm not out there trying to make a fool of myself to make the public feel like I don't know what I'm doing. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing much more I can say to that, because exactly what you're saying. You're preaching to the converted, Uncle. You're preaching to the converted. In fact, a lot of the stuff that you say, it's like stuff that
around this time, and I know what it takes to get there. That's like they say, boxing is the loneliest sport in the world, and I know how void it is. That's why I don't bother with them with a bunch of nonsense in the dressing rooms. People wanting tickets, and can I speak to them? I said, no, you can't speak to nobody this time. Go take a seat and see him after the fight. When I get to that locker room, I don't want nobody in there. I don't want nobody there asking for tickets and where am I sitting? And Mary can't get in. What do we? No, you can't come. You can't communicate with the boxer because he's got the tunnel vision. It's time to fight now.
Do you remember what I called JARRELL Miller? Big Daddy Bo.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happened? What happened with Riddick Bowe, and what's just happened to JARRELL Miller? Because they didn't have, they had no discipline when it comes to their weight.
You gotta have discipline, And I told Jarrell that, and I can talk to Jarrell. He, like I said, he's very respectful of me. He's never been disrespectful to me at all. He listens to me. I'm able to communicate with him. I'm able to say different things to him to make him understand what it takes to go at the top level. Look, I've been with 2 of the best heavyweights in the world. Well, 3 of the best heavyweights in the world.
3 of the best heavyweights in the world.
3 of the best heavyweights in the world over the last 50 years. I've been with the 3 of the best ones. And each one of them had a work ethic. And in fact, to this day, Vladimir Klitschko is still 242, 243 pounds. His fighting weight. I talk to him regularly, and he's still 240, between 240 and 243 at any given day, because he's disciplined. He has a fighter's discipline. And this is what Jarrell Miller needs. Jarrell Miller needs discipline. He's got to cut everything off. He's got to cut everything off and get down to the nitty gritty and be prepared to fight.
100 pounds, is that possible? I mean, how long does it take to remove 100 pounds, would you say? I'm saying 100 pounds would be kind of like, if you remove that brings him to 330, yeah, 230. Brings him to 230 pounds.
What boxers is, you can't go on a water diet. You can't just strip the weight right off.
You can't. You got to do it healthy.
You can't come back in the next fight at 315. No, you gotta work it off. He got to get in the gym. He's got to work it off, and he's got to discipline himself. Discipline himself to work the weight off. He's got to get in the gym. He's got to do plenty of sparring, not hard sparring, targets. You know, he didn't do a quarter of the things that he could have did, a quarter of the things that he should have did versus Daniel Dubois the other night. He followed Dubois the whole fight. That took a lot of energy. Dubois was going left, he was going right, he was going over round to, round and round and round and round, and Jarrell was just following him. He never slid right, left to cut those rings off, to push Daniel back to the ropes, where he should have locked Daniel in and kept Daniel in one particular place. Instead, he was reduced to following him around the ring, and that was a no-no. That was a big energy sapper.
Okay, so Snazzy Azzy asks a question. Evening all, hello to Uncle Bashir. Could you please ask him if it was nice for him to reunite with Don Charles? I didn't ask the question, by the way. Snazzy Azzy did.
Don Charles is a guy that I like. But Don Charles has a lot to learn about the nature of business, and then the nature of the business of boxing. I extended my hand to shake hands with him, and he waved at me like, get out my face, get out of my face. He's upset with me about what I don't know, and I really don't give a damn, I came into the locker room to watch the wrapping of the hand, because Don and one of the people on Jarrell's teams, their interactions weren't good. So the trainer told me, well, you go in the locker room and tell him to come over, because he didn't want Don Charles and this young guy arguing or interacting.
Yeah, there was an interaction the night before you landed with this young man. I actually thought it was you, because he was wearing red as well. But then I looked back at the video, it wasn't you. It was a young man, and it was interaction between him and Don Charles.
That interaction throughout the week, they kept. I had to come between them a couple of times. Say, hey man, Don, go away. And Don didn't even say he respected me for that day. He waved his hand. I put my hand out to shake his hand. He waved at me like, get out of my face. So I said, okay, fine, I can do that there. I can do that there, but I'm going to keep doing it, because I'm not going to communicate with somebody that doesn't respect me. All of this talking that I did with Don Charles when I lived there in England, when I lived in his house and worked in his gym, and I thought that we had a respect, a camaraderie. Not one time in my years with Emmanuel Stewart, not one time in my years with Tommy Parks, not one year or one time in my years with Lee Black, all of those top trainers that I worked with over the years, I can't remember me disrespecting them at one time. arguments and ins and outs and ups and downs. We had arguments, but we came to a respectful platform where we can get along, where we can do things together.
Not everybody understands that process.
He waved that day. I said, and everybody looked at me when he did that there. Other people in the arena looked at me, and I said, "Wow, you know." And then Daniel Dubois came up and hugged me and said, "Hey, Mr. Bashir, I love you." You know, this is what Daniel Dubois, the fighter, said.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. That's understandable. You see, sometimes I'm not surprised about that.
In the ring, and he hugged me in a heartfelt hug and said, "Hey, man, I love you, Mr. Bashir." So I said, "Well, damn." I said, "How much deeper could it be if the fighter loved me and this guy's supposed to be the trainer? He gonna disrespect me and say, 'Get out of here.'" I said, "Okay, fine, you know." But I'm a bigger man than that. I got bigger fish to fry. You know, Don act like some woman on her period or something, all bitchy and stuff, waving his hand at me and stuff. I said, "Wow, he showed me contempt and disrespect. Keep on showing it. I don't want to be friends with him now. Fuck out of here." I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't think you've lost anything in that. Some people can't process certain things, and you just have to. Once you've done your bit and you've said, "Look, you know, I apologize," or you've tried to make amends, or you've tried your bit and you've done your bit as a man to friends, say, "Look, this is it," and they still have that attitude, that's their problem, and they'll live with that, and that's going to fester in them, and that's their problems. And you know, there's life after boxing.
Yes,
you know, it's life after boxing, and
yeah, I thought that we were better than that. I thought that he had.
Just move on from him. Move on from that. I don't want to talk about him, and let's move on from him. Let's talk about something more productive. So the fight itself between Daniel Dubois and Jarrell Miller. Did you expect it to go the way it went?
Did a lot for each other. I think that Daniel stood up. I thought that he achieved a lot because there were some rocky moments in their form before Jarrell got tired. There were some rocky moments, and Daniel stood up. He took what he had to take. He ate what he had to eat, but he came back. He came roaring back, you know? And I think the fight was stopped with 10 seconds left on the clock. But it was justifiably stopped, in my opinion, because Jarrell was taking shots. And he was too fatigued. He was too tired to defend himself at that point. So the referee stepped in and stopped it. And I think that the stoppage was justifiable.
So the stoppage wasn't really due to Daniel Dubois' power, but more to the fact that Jarrell was exhausted.
It was. The referee was saying, "Look, let me stop this fight." You know, some people said prematurely, but it's better to stop a fight before a guy gets badly, as opposed to wishing that you had stopped him after he gets injured severely. So yeah, I think that the stoppage was justifiable.
The future for Daniel Dubois. I mean, I'm always heard call that Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Where do you see his future?
I think the sky's the limit for Daniel Dubois. Like I said, he's 25, 26 years old. I think that he can go on to do some big things in boxing.
How was your...
At this point, I would look for the big names. I would look for the big names if I were Daniel Dubois. He's like prime time for him to make that move.
How was your interaction with him and his father? Did you interact at all?
I briefly spoke to the father. I went to the car when we went outside the stadium, and I went to the car to speak to Daniel, and I inadvertently interacted with the father. But the father was cordial to me. He was cordial. He was respectful to me.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very respectful to me, very cordial to me. So I have no beef with them. My beef is with Don Charles, because he's a friend one minute, and then when he chose us, he's an enemy.
Like I said, I don't really want to talk much and give any more airtime to Don Charles. Let's talk about other things. Let's talk about the fight. What did I tell you about MAKMUDOV?
Well, MAKMUDOV,
big head. That's it. Can't fight. Can't fight. I told you.
Yeah, he can't, because people's bigging him up. He's a tough guy. Everybody's talking about what he could do. This, he's that. He's a monster. This and that. This and that. Well, he got hit in the breadbasket. He ain't like it. He got hit in the breadbasket again. He said, "I'm out of here. I gotta go. I don't have to take this here. I don't have to take this here." Nobody.
It was like a good school bully getting beaten up.
Hold up, I gotta get a charger for my phone. 1 minute. Give me one.
Hold on. Let's see what people are saying in the room. Sorry, I'm gonna go through the comments. I'll just read the comments out, Uncle, while you get your charger. It was a good card, and it was at a time that in my country we could watch while eating dinner. Very happy. Looking forward to more. Great. Uncle Bashir looking rather suave and debonair, if I do say so myself, he says. Wilder, trash. Uncle needs to speak to him. The card was terrible. Wow. Bro, I can't say how you could say the card was terrible. I mean, no, I can't agree with you on that one. Sorry. Like, you're entitled to your opinion. Lennox Lewis, I'm a pugilist specialist. Miller disappointed me. Yeah, I would agree with those sentiments. I wonder if Wilder thought he would be gifted the win on the scorecard because of the expected Joshua bout. Joshua had no business wanting to fight Wilder. He wanted the Hrgovic fight because he wanted the IBF. There's an IBF vacant title to fight for, I believe, in the future after Usyk and Fury fight. So his interest was to fight Hrgovic for the vacant. That's why he had no interest in fighting Wilder. He said it himself. Or he was alluding to that. Ayushka is to blame. The drug has destroyed his brain. Yeah, but it was smoking weed way before that. A great show of both. Thank you very much. Wow. Ashamed to hear about Don. Such a difference between when Usyk saw you, Uncle, this year at a press conference and he hugged you, etc. Yeah, well.
Yeah. Usyk and I get along well. I saw Joshua land a shot on WALLIN, and the shot was considered to be a legal shot. Okay, I think I got some juice here. It was considered to be a legal shot. And it was the same shot, basically, that Dubois landed on Usyk. So it depends on what venue we are in and what are the ramifications therein. And they say, oh, Usyk and Dubois landed an illegal shot. But I saw Joshua land a shot on WALLIN that was equal to the same shot that Dubois threw against Usyk. So it depends on who's going to benefit from the shot being called low.
I said, I'm going to go back to the KABAYEL MAKMUDOV. I said that MAKMUDOV was hype, but I also think Hrgovic is hype as well, to be honest with you. And I actually think KABAYEL is a very good fighter. And I said that KABAYEL would have given Tyson Fury a lot of problems. But people said, KABAYEL ain't all that. And then KABAYEL goes and beats up that giant. I said that KABAYEL is a dangerous fighter.
The fight, that's for sure. KABAYEL comes to fight. There's no doubt.
Dangerous fighter. I said it.
Yeah.
I have more faith in KABAYEL than I do in Hrgovic, just to be honest.
Right.
Give me three of them. You give me Kabayel.
I can see that.
It's Kazurkovic to me. He seems to me like you on him.
Changing gears for 1 minute.
Okay.
Your top 5 heavyweight champions of all time.
Top 5 heavyweights of all time. Ali's in there.
No. Name them in the order that you picking them.
Ali's number 1. I hate to say, but Ali's number 1 because of the era, the people he fought.
Look, Ali is number 1 for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think of the greatest heavyweight champions, I'm thinking because of what they achieved and what they improved throughout their career. So go ahead. Ali is number 1.
Joe Louis.
Joe Louis is number 2.
I hate to say it, but Lennox Lewis is in the top 5.
Lennox Lewis is number 3.
George Foreman for his punching power.
George Foreman is number 4.
Marciano does not make my list. Right, it's a pick 'em between Sonny Liston, can't put you in there, bro. I love you, but I can't put you in there.
My last one would say Larry Holmes.
Yeah. Yes. Holmes would be 5. No, Holmes, actually, I got to put Holmes further up. I got to put Holmes further up the list. Ali, Joe Louis, Larry Holmes. And then who else? Lennox Lewis can come after that. And then George Foreman. And then, you know why I don't put Lennox as high? Because Lennox got knocked out twice by 2 guys that he should have beat and was complacent, which means back in that era, with the mentality Lennox had, he probably would have got knocked up by people as well, like that.
But he came back to beat those dudes. The fact of the matter that he wanted to fight them again. A lot of times the guys don't want to fight again. So yeah, I agree with that list. That's a good list. Now, I agree with that list wholeheartedly, you know.
No Tyson Fury, no Evander Holyfield. Sorry, I love Evander, but
no, Evander and Mike Tyson were good fighters. Yeah. They don't these guys that we chose.
Yeah, they're not. No.
Okay, let's get back to business.
Are you just checking my heavyweight knowledge, eh? Who's your top 5, by the way?
You know, because different reporters and different people over here come up to me with that scenario, you know. So I just want to ask somebody else's. I just want to see how close I was being correct.
What is your top 5 then?
Now my top 5 is what your top 5. You know, I agree with that top 5.
Inky, pinky, ponky. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's nice to know. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That Sonny Liston one, though. Still, I know.
Sonny Liston and Mike Tyson, I think they stunted their own growth in the all-time great list. They stunted their own growth.
Yeah.
But out of the ring activities, I feel as though Sonny Liston and Mike Tyson could have and should have achieved more. But be it as it may, it didn't happen.
The only question about Sonny Liston is, was his career impacted by outside influences? I'll put it that way, trying to be politically correct. Because I heard there was a few people that visited him.
I think the Ali dismantling destroyed his confidence. He was never the same after the Ali loss. He was just never the same. He had never saw anything like Muhammad Ali, and Ali dissected his brain, and he just was never the same after that.
The second fight, the Phantom Punch, they call it. I heard he had a visit. So apparently, he had a knock at the door, and he was told on certain terms, take the dive. Is that true?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who knows? At that time, who knows? It could have been some hanky-panky.
Well, it's closer to your time than my time, so you can't say eeny, meeny, miny, mo because you were there. That was around your time.
Yeah, but I was a young guy. I was a very, very, very young guy.
I can say eeny, meeny, miny, mo because it wasn't my time. You was around your time.
No, it wasn't.
Even if you're a young guy.
I was still a young man. I didn't know. But at that time in America, it could have been that. I mean, the mafia in America at that time were very, very strong. They had a hand in everything.
Okay.
Everything. Nobody can. They had fingers that was reaching so high up in government. You know, you don't know what was going on during that time.
You know, I told you when I went to Chicago, I saw Ali's house in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was. And then when I was in Grenada, I was on the first boxing ring that Muhammad Ali boxed in. The first ring he boxed in as a professional. Incredible. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about Wilder versus Parker. I said that this was the end of an era. Before, when the fight was announced, I said, this is the end of an era. There's no way you can come out of 2 years, a 2-year layoff, and then have one round against Helenius. And then the stuff he was doing with Malik Scott. And then they had a year to prepare for that Tyson Fury third fight. And they didn't, Malik Scott and Wilder did not know what the best weight was for them. And he was blown out his backside from the second round. So, I mean, he had a year to prepare.
The thing that bothered me the most, and I said to a person standing next to me, it would not surprise me if Joseph Parker hits Deontay on the chin and knocks him out. This is what I was looking to see that happen. This is what I said to one of the members of the team. I don't know which one, but I said it wouldn't surprise me because Deontay Wilder weighed in at 213 pounds. But I noticed that he gave his keys and his phone and his wallet and a bunch of other things out of his pockets. So I'm wondering how much of that 213 pounds were legitimately 213. Maybe he was like 209. I said, this is too light for modern life. I said it 25. I think Joseph Parker came in 245, 235, or some big weight. I said, this is not good. So when they announced that he had won the fight, it didn't surprise me because I just said it's just too light to come in as a heavyweight.
I said it. I said it in my preview. It's too light. Too light.
And now everybody and their mother is going to be hunting for Deontay Wilder because if they think they have the kryptonite to end the power of the right hand. If they found a way to end the kryptonite of the power of the right hand, then it's over for Deontay Wilder. It's over.
Let's get the people comments from people in the room. I'm trying to get the comments of the people in the room here. There's loads of it. Just
okay. Let's address some of them.
It goes here. Good evening, Vince. Love your comments and feedback in the videos. Really appreciate you. Thank you. And Merry Christmas. AJ didn't think he could beat Wilder. It had nothing to do with wanting to be 3-time champion, in my opinion, he says. What are your thoughts on that?
Say it again.
AJ didn't think he could beat Wilder. It had nothing to do with wanting to be a 3-time champion, in my opinion. That's what Vince Carter says.
Well, guess what? That changed overnight.
Yeah, it did.
That's not to say that Wilder will fare any better than Joseph Parker because Deontay is going to prepare for AJ. He's not going to sleep on AJ. I still think the fight is a viable fight. I still think they should make the fight. In fact, I think that the Saudis are in a position now to take over boxing because the Saudis are making fights overnight that took Britain and America years to make.
This guy comes in and says, Herkovich isn't hype. He's an Olympian bronze medalist. This guy is the same guy that rated this monster that got destroyed. Fraud. And then the other fraud that got beat by, was it Charles Martin beat him? He just likes his guys, Russian and Eastern European guys. That's what it is. Then any of them guys are brilliant. And he just said, the Chinese guy beats all of these guys. Zhang.
I'd like to see Zhang be put in the mix.
Yeah, they want him out. They don't want him in the mix. They don't want him. They don't want him in that mix. You can tell. But that would be nice to see him in the next card. Herkovich also wilded in sparring badly. He's the real, to be honest, and tough contender. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything to me. This time, go ahead, Uncle.
I think that Zhang belongs in the mix. There's no doubt about it. Zhang belongs in the mix.
Look, it says, and Ozgi and Aldi was a gold medalist. So what? Audley was a gold medalist. Doesn't mean anything.
Tony Yoka was a gold medalist.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Exactly. Question for Uncle Bashir. Can you ask him to give me one boxer he's met who fights at the elite level is the most gentleman-like as a person? He's going to tell you Alexander Usyk, but let me see.
Muhammad Ali, Alexander Usyk, Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko. These guys are gentlemen. Vitaly Klitschko, really humble guys, really very respectful guys.
He goes here. Ingram, Bashir asking your top 5 heavyweights is a trick question. LOL.
No, it wasn't a trick question. I just wanted to see if anybody would coincide with what my top 5 were.
Okay, check this top 5. Lennox number 1, Ali number 2, Evander number 3, Joe Louis number 4, and Jack Dempsey number 5.
Well, what are the highlights of Jack Dempsey's career? That's what I need to know, the highlights of Jack. I mean, Jack himself was a good, solid fighter. But there are different highlights that I chose these guys saying they were great. Because, I mean, Ali fought Kenny Norton 3 times in a career. He fought Joe Frazier 3 times in a career. He beat Sonny Liston twice. It's amazing. He fought a guy that had 8 fights in Leon Spinks and then came back to beat Spinks. That to me was phenomenal for an old guy like Ali at the time to fight a young guy like Spinks. Spinks was a hurricane, People said no, Spinks was too small, but Spinks was busy. He was a busy fighter.
Jack Dempsey. That's why I didn't put Rocky Marciano in there either. Can't put Marciano in there.
No, he can't put Rocky in there.
And I couldn't even put Evander in there, much less put Jack Dempsey in there.
No.
Okay.
And Evander would be a better candidate than Rocky.
Jack. Leif says Joe Frazier.
What about him?
Being in the top 5.
No,
I don't think so either.
No,
See what George Foreman did. See what George did to him twice.
No, Joe couldn't be in the top 5. As good a fighter as Joe was, he's not top 5 material. And that's no offense or disrespect to Joe Frazier. I great respect for Joe Frazier.
Because Lekker's now selling. No, at first he was selling out MAKMUDOV, who got destroyed. Now he's selling out Hergovich. Now he's turned back as Hergovich. He's selling Vince Carter. Hergovich is proving himself in the pro ranks. Look who he's fought. His fight with Zhang is aging very well. Zhang is also an Olympian silver medalist. If Zhang catches Hergovich this time, he'll knock Hergovich out. He'll knock Hergovich out if he fights him this time around.
Hergovich won that fight because Zhang tied in the last round. Hergovich won that fight with Zhang by the skin of his chinny chin chin. I'd like to see that fight in a rematch.
Zhang knocks him out in a rematch.
I don't think he wants that rematch.
Who, Hergovich or
Hergovich
Zhang? Hergovich, no, he don't want no part of that.
I spoke with him at the fight. Hergovich and I get along very well. We get along very well. I mean, he's from Ivana's hometown, so we know each other pretty well.
Oh, okay. And then this one. Does Bashir, you ask the weirdest of questions, weather events and fire. Does Bashir agree that having intercourse with a woman before a fighter gets into the ring makes him weak? LOL.
Yes, I do. I'm old school. I'm old school. I don't believe in that kind of nonsense. I have fighters say, well, it makes me relax. Well, that's why nobody don't know you, because you're so relaxed.
Well, Wilder said he does, and it must take something out of his legs. Sorry, Uncle. Sorry.
How do I answer that there? Different strokes from different folks. I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. No, because when you engage in intercourse, the conclusion of intercourse is it's going to zap you. It's going to sap you of your energy. There's nowhere. There's no. I mean, for those of you in the listening audience who have had the honor of having sex with somebody, I guess it was an honor to have sex. You know the results of it. So you're going to say that you can have sex 10 days before a fight because it relaxes you and it makes you better. I can't believe that.
I don't believe that. You need that. You need the testosterone. You need that pent up energy. You need that.
I wouldn't engage in intercourse leading up to a fight. I think that is better. I remember Muhammad Ali saying many, many years ago that he knew that he was prepared to fight when he started having wet dreams.
Wow.
So usually when you have wet dreams, that's because you got a reserve where you backed up, Yeah. That's what brings the wet dreams into play.
Uncle, one thing that I don't like in boxing is how people change goalposts. Before Parker fought Wilder, it was like Wilder's going to knock Parker out in the first couple of rounds. He'll smash Parker to bits. This, he'll do that. And then after the fight, it's like, Parker wasn't that good.
Going in, I said it was a 50-50 fight.
I didn't look at it.
Wilder weighed in at 210. I said it just turned into a 70-30 fight. Because if this guy can avoid getting hit, especially early with the right hand, that he stands a good chance of winning the fight. And he did.
Parker's just a better boxer than Wilder. Parker is more adaptable than Wilder. And Parker's got a better trainer than Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got to rate Andy Lee. I think Andy Lee's a damn good trainer.
Yeah, Andy and I were very close in the Kronk gym. Andy and I had a very good relationship, a very solid relationship. And Andy Lee was one of those kind of fighters that at any given time, I could say something to Andy about his boxing in the boxing ring. And Andy respected me. That's what I enjoyed about Andy Lee. And he's very, very knowledgeable about the sport of boxing.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to end up being one of the top, if not one of the top trainers in the world of boxing. He's just, I don't know, like he gave Joseph Parker what was necessary for him to beat Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't box him like the way Tyson Fury did. He used what Joseph Parker's attributes was.
Parker used it smart, evasive tactics to avoid getting hit with that right hand.
Yeah. One thing I noticed.
At one point in the fight, Deontay was throwing punches like a girl.
Yeah. Did you notice?
After Parker landed that wide overhand right,
yeah,
I saw Deontay was throwing punches like right hand, because his room was taken away. So he was reduced to swatting with the right hand as opposed to turning the right hand over.
Yeah, but that's all that stuff he's been doing with Malik, and he's been practicing with Malik for sure. For sure. Because I actually saw him bending. I've never seen Wilder bend down like that. Never. In all times in Wilder fight, bending down.
Well, when you get hit with one of the right hands like Parker threw, it shook him up a little bit. He had to fight for his life to keep him off.
Well, he's bouncing around the ring. And then that move he makes, you know, when he puts his hands up in the air and he's moving around, I said, and I mentioned it in my preview, if he does that against Parker, Parker's going to jump. And when you put your hands up in the air, when you're jumping away, you put your hands up in the air, you've got no way of defending yourself, and you can't throw any punches. You can't defend yourself, and you can't throw any punches. Your hands are in the air. It says protect yourself at all times. His hands are in the air, so Parker went to the body and went to the head. I thought, there you go.
Well,
Parker's run to the heavyweight title again. What are your thoughts?
I think that he stands a good chance to win the heavyweight championship. And he's a decent human being. He's a focused human being.
Nice guy.
These things, people say that doesn't mean nothing, but it means a lot when you're focused. When you're focused and when you into your trainer and into training, you know, Parker and Andy Lee, I observed them, you know, in the pre-fight festivities, you know, I observed it, and they seemed to have a really, really good, respectful relationship, the way that Andy Lee had with Emmanuel Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Let me throw his fight at you very quickly. Joseph Parker versus Daniel Dubois.
Very good fight. Very, very, very good fight. And in fact, I anticipate that fight is going to come next.
There you go. I've just made it up there. There you go.
I anticipate that fight has got to come next. Maybe in March, maybe April, maybe February. I see that fight coming.
Otto Wallin versus MAKMUDOV.
Yeah, why not?
Ajit KABAYEL versus Frank Sanchez.
Yeah. I think those would be exciting matchups.
Make a good matchmaker, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
So your advice to Deontay Wilder, should he retire like everyone's saying, or if you're going to make adjustments, what happens?
I think that Deontay is not finished. I think he deserves another chance, just as Jarrell Miller deserves another chance, because anybody can have a bad night, especially under those circumstances and the stress they're in. I think that they both deserve another chance. I think that they should deserve a chance at the top level.
Okay, then let's make this Miller versus Wilder.
That'll be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. They both came up short, you know, and both would want to win that fight even more because of the chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Who you picking? I think it's a good fight.
Who you picking?
Who I'm picking?
Yeah.
Jarrell Miller. I'm picking Jarrell Miller. We beat Deontay. We beat him.
Okay. Jarrell's not happy that, according to him, Wilder landed punches on him, which were not. He felt that concussed him, and he wasn't happy about it. he's still got beef about that in sparring.
Yeah, I in a tough fight, I pick Jarrell Miller to win, especially if I'm training Jarrell Miller. I've got to have Jarrell Miller alone. I've got to have him in a training camp alone, where I can make some sense to him about the importance of being ready to be in shape.
Do you have a message to Jarrell Miller if he's listening?
The same message I've been giving him. You know, just give yourself to me for 6 weeks prior to any fight, and we go out there and we win the heavyweight championship together. Wow. But you have to give yourself to me for those 6 weeks. Don't be bitching and moaning. Jarrell know what I'm. If Jarrell's in the listening audience, and he will be, if he doesn't hear this direct, he'll hear it later on the internet. If he's listening, he knows if he gives himself to me, he knows the rule and the nature of how I train boxers. He knows that he's going to come out on top, you know. But he also knows that I'm not going to take shortcuts. I need you to put your heart and soul into training. So when we come to that ring together, I know what I'm bringing in the ring.
Jarrell Miller's one of those guys I'd like to follow. I'd like to follow his comeback because I think that a lot of people would forget him, but I'd love to follow his comeback. Why? Because I think he's got talent there, and people always like to spot a winner, but people don't know how to spot.
You know, he's got it. I've been around this guy a long time.
He's got it.
The fact that he was dead tired after the fourth, I have to look back at the fight to really see. But I'm thinking after the fourth, maybe the fifth round, he was dead. He was dead, man. I never mentioned the word tired in the corner, but I knew in the back that
this guy's gone. He's tired.
You know, he's working. He's doing his job on fumes.
Yeah,
but he never mentioned anything about quitting.
Yeah. Jay Ruse says Deontay looks super skinny, especially his legs.
That was like suicide coming in there at 210 pounds. They said 213, but like I said, he had his wallet, keys, cell phone, and God knows what else in his pocket to come up to 213. So I'm thinking that he came in more like 209, 210. And that's a risky proposition in the heavyweight division today because these guys are coming in at 260, 245. You get hit on the chin by one of those big guys with 210 pounds on your body, you can go to sleep.
Guys here, just a thought. I wonder if Deontay and his team playing everybody, boxing below par to lure other fighters in.
Could be. It's not like but at the risk of taking a loss, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. It's too risky. That, you know, in Saudi Arabia of all places, where you can making zillions of money, you know, I'm not sure.
I enjoyed Saudi Arabia, especially at night. You can take a walk at night. You know, Saudi Arabia is just another world. You know, I like it. You all right?
Yeah, I'm just listening to some of these comments there. I think I know who Lekin is. Lekin, I think Lekin's from Nigeria. I'm sure he is. I'm not who you think I am, BW first. I think you got me confused with someone else. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, you are. I think you're Nigerian. If I could be wrong, but I think you're Nigerian. Remember when you subscribe to our channel. Good evening. Hope you're well. You got the wrong guy, Ingram. I don't give my verdict on the Russian guy. People overhyping fighters like crazy. Not me. Because yes, King Strick. He says, "Help and welcome, Ingram and Mr. Bashir." The best comeback fight for Wilder is Joyce. Jesus, in February. No, I don't want to see that because they're both old. So it's fair and Joyce won't move like Parker. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that fight for either of those guys.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that Joe Joyce got to get in the mix. If they're going to make fights in Saudi Arabia today, they've got to put Joe Joyce in the mix.
Joyce can fight her, that MAKMUDOV. Let him fight him.
Yeah, somebody. I like the fact that the Saudis are generating interest in boxing, particularly the heavyweight division again, because they're making fights that the people want to see.
Yeah, but
the element of suspense and surprise is viable. This is what
by
they
the way,
want.
there are people that say that the card was terrible. Exactly. There are people said that the card is terrible. I don't know what they want.
It was, yeah. I think the fight was good. I think that was good.
It
was good chemistry. I think it's the start of some big things to come. I got even excited. I called Vlad Sarenko, and Vlad Sarenko expressed to me that how excited he was just to get back in the mix. He hopes to come into Saudi in February or March to fight, and he told me, on the phone, he says, "Man, I'm excited. I'm anxious to get back in there. I want to get in the mix. I want to be there in that ring the other night with somebody."
We need to see him. We need to see him in maybe we can get him versus Mark Demori.
Right now I don't care. My guy's back. He had a little setback with his injuries and stuff, but he's back and he's ready to fight.
Yeah, people need to hear about him again because obviously that timeout, some of the other names have been knocking on the door. He needs to make his move in 2024. Vince Carter says Zhang beats them all. Agreed. And then Dean92 says Jack Dempsey is my favorite. Okay.
Jack Dempsey, don't mistake me. Jack Dempsey was a
great fighter.
But I don't think he has the credentials to be in that top 5.
No, I don't think so either. James Ali shared that Michael Thomas' family, former boxer as well, says, James Ali Bashir, this new school trainers need you, bro.
The problem is that the new school trainers, you can't tell them nothing. They don't, one of the imams said that water seeks its own level. The new school trainers think that they're doing everything right, and the old school trainers can't say anything to them. So I don't try to communicate with them. I don't try. I go out and I do what I got to do to be successful. I know my applications will best any application that the new school trainers have, because they have a lot of stuff going on in the training that has nothing to do with what they're going to do that on the night of boxing.
Let me ask this question. It just dawned on me, all these new school trainers, do their techniques hold up to old school boxing techniques?
No way.
That's what I thought.
Because my mother would say to me, she said, son, she said, the proof is in the tasting of the pudding. You see, the old school boxers, they had careers. You found these guys, Tommy Hearns, Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. Those guys took the championship and they stayed on top. They stayed on top. Aaron Pryor, Alexis Aguayo, Salvador Sanchez. These guys stayed on top. Today's boxer comes, he's in there for 2 fights and he's gone. You don't hear from him no more.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. Longevity.
And they're getting raves. They're getting raves on the internet. Oh, wow, this guy was great. Blah, 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 blah. And then you don't hear from him no more. No more.
Mm-hmm.
No more. What is this young man at junior middleweight? He was the junior middleweight champion.
And Hurd. I was just about to talk about him. Yep.
Jarrett Hurd.
Don't talk about him no more. Don't hear about him no more. What happened to him?
Where's Jarrett Hurd? Where is Jarrett Hurd?
Didn't he get arrested?
I don't know. But the fact of the matter of what I'm saying is,
didn't last.
It didn't last. These guys come, they're flashing the pan, and then you don't hear from them no more. They have the tools, they have the ability, but what happens to them? So it tells you the effect of the old school trainer. They were teachers.
Let me throw this at you. So the other night, I thought that I was beginning to see a pattern in boxing where guys with high IQ, high boxing ability, they can punch, but they don't rely on their punch. They use their ring IQ. They've got better defense. They've got better ring generalship against a guy who's just more or less an ignorant puncher. And I was thinking, right, because I listened to Haney when Haney was talking to this last guy, Prograde, and he said to him, show me your skills. What skills have you got? He goes, yeah, you can punch. Okay, fine. But what skills have you got? And he was just talking about how he's going to hurt him, Prograde, he's going to knock him out. And I thought, well, if you come into the ring with that mentality, you're just going to try and knock him out. When you can't land your big punch, or your big punch is being blocked or slipped, and you're getting countered hard, you've got no plan B.
When you look at what Devin Haney did to Prograde,
yeah,
it makes you long for the day of Alexis Aguayo versus Aaron Pryor. When you look at them side by side, it makes you long for the day of Aaron Pryor versus Alexis Aguayo.
Skill be skill.
Because Prograde didn't show me anything that he belonged in there with Devin Haney.
He didn't. Exactly what he said.
He looked like a novice amateur.
Yeah, exactly what Haney was saying. He's saying, show me your skill level. What skill do you have? He said it at the pre-fight. He said face off. He said, what skill do you have? Oh, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. But you ain't got no skill.
What happens is that will affect Devin Haney's performance because he's got to fight down. Prograde never came up on that level to make him think, to make him do things, to bring out the best in Devin. So we still haven't seen the best of Devin Haney because nobody's been in there to force the best out of him.
So based on that sort of boxing IQ, articulate, blah, 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 he's like, Prograde, I went to one of the hard schools, but he didn't have any sense. So anyway, I thought to myself, with that philosophy now, way of thinking, then they had this fight between Bam Bam Rodriguez and Sonny Edwards. And I'm thinking to myself, Sonny Edwards is skilled. He's not a big puncher, but he's got skill. He's very articulate. He's very intelligent in the ring.
Over in Saudi, I saw Sonny Edwards.
Yeah, and then he got beat up by Bam Bam. Like, well, I just thought IQ and all this stuff, and then Rodriguez just run straight through him. I'm thinking, well, hold on a second. So then that theory doesn't work then, or does it? The guy's got a high IQ should win. But Bam just ran straight through him.
I'm anxious to see more of Devin Haney, how he progresses, you know. I think that he would be biting off a bit much to go to the welterweight division at this particular point in his career. I think that it would be biting off too much right now to take the step up to the welterweight division. So I think he should stay at 140.
Clean up.
And by this time, maybe go up to the welterweight division late next year.
Yeah. Did you see the Sonny Edwards fight with Bam Bam?
No, I didn't see it, but I saw some the results of it. I saw Sonny in the I saw the results of it. You know, I think he had stitches in his eye.
Yeah.
Nice young man. I saw him over there in Saudi.
He is, and like him a lot. I like him a lot. Just got beat up.
He's a nice guy.
Sign the contract. He did sign the contract. Bless him. All right. Let's talk more about so your final thoughts on Wilder and Parker?
I think Wilder should move on. I think he should fight somebody else. I don't want him to fight Parker again because Parker would be hard pressed to knock Wilder out.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, if they made the rematch, it would be a very, very intriguing fight, and somebody would get knocked out in that fight. I would like to see a rematch.
I wouldn't. I would stay well away from that fight. Parker's just a fundamentally better boxer than Wilder. Wilder will always just rely on that right hand.
That's makes it all that much more exciting. I think that I can see the rematch.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Bad night. Let's see if you did have a bad night, or the bad night. You have to come. Let's do it.
Because if they've got the same trainer in the corner, the same result, for Wilder get knocked out this time. I don't want to see that rematch, unless it's for a world title. I don't want to see that fight for the longevity of whatever's left of Wilder. I was shocked at Otto Wallin. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. If he got paid off in the dressing room. But he looked terrible. He looked nothing like the guy that fought Brazil. He looked nothing like the guy that fought Fury. He looked like just a punching bag. And I don't understand what happened. Can you explain?
No. I'm in the gym with Otto Wallin a lot. Igor Pleveko boxes Otto Wallin a lot. And the Otto Wallin that I saw in the gym, I just didn't see in the ring. I don't know what happened. I guess he didn't know what would happen either.
Check this here. I'm trying to get all these comments up. Lekin says, I favored Parker and made some good money. Wilder overhyped and has ducked the elite competition. The flaws have been apparent throughout his career. Also, he's 38 years old and inactive.
Yeah, it can't. That's one thing that today's boxers don't observe. You know, they take too long layoffs, 4 or 5 months. That's too much, especially if you have not been injured. Your job is to be a prize fighter. A prize fighter can't get the prize unless they're fighting. So a prize fighter got to, I'm telling you, there's no mental focus in boxing. You know, they'll have a fight in September and you won't see them again until June. That's ridiculous. You're a prize fighter. So if you fight in September, especially if you get a second, third round KO, you should be back there in November. And then if the same thing happens in November, you come back there, you come back again in January.
Andy Lee, one of the best trainers in UK, quiet man, goes about business.
Who?
Andy Lee. Not braggadocious. He just goes about his business, Andy Lee.
Yes. Yes, Andy Lee is a nice guy, and he's working on being a great trainer. That's my man. Me and Andy, we go back. We go back in the Kronk Gym a long way. We're very, very close. I like the fact that Andy Lee and I have always been close, and we remain to be close to this day.
Zhang called out AJ. Your thoughts? If I'm AJ, I stay well away from Zhang.
I think that was a wise move to call it out. I think that was a wise move for Zhang to call AJ out.
Yes.
And I think that's a good matchup.
Oh, it's a good matchup. If I'm AJ, I swerve that.
I think that's a winning matchup, you know.
Who wins?
It's like I said, 50-50. That's a 50-50 fight.
Oh, it's not. Well, what makes it 50-50? If Zhang hits AJ on the chin, you know what's going to happen.
It's a 50-50 fight.
50-50?
Yeah, I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Wow. Okay.
I like to see it. It's very, very, very intriguing. You know, I'd like to be here in the States when the next card is made for Saudi. Saudi is making those fights that happen. That is rejuvenating the excitement in me again. You know.
I know you were critical of Ben Davison recently, like in terms of like all this hype he's getting. But this last fight with Joshua looked really good against Wallin. How much credit can you give to Ben Davison basically after the performances he had against Franklin?
I'm not a detractor or criticize people justly. I just think that there are other trainers out there. You know, what I say racism is in boxing.
Oh, it's there.
Like yes, it's definitely there. Because white trainers will get the jobs that black trainers won't get. They're more likely to get the jobs that black trainers won't get. So I wasn't critical of Ben Davis' training skills. I just said that he's been put in a good place because of the color of his skin. You know, he's been put in a good place. He's been put in those venues where he can do well, where he can thrive with good fighters. Anthony Joshua is a good fighter. Ben Davison is been put in a position, you know, where I'm the guy that came along at the right time.
Okay.
And I think that black fighters respond to white trainers differently than they respond to black trainers. I said it. I mean it. I think that they respond differently. I think
there
that
is something there. There is something there in that.
Yeah, because I think it's the case where blacks respond to whites different than they respond to other blacks.
Is that the whole crab in the barrel syndrome thing? Where, you know, you see one being successful and you have to pull them down. The crab in the barrel syndrome. Instead of working together.
I don't know. I mean, so much has happened to black people over the centuries.
Mm-hmm.
The different effects that they have when they're relating to each other and when they're relating to people outside of their race, it's complex. But I do think it's a valid point that I'm raising, you know.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. I've never seen this Daniel Woods before, but shout out to Daniel Woods. How you doing, Daniel? Whoever Miller fights next, James will be in the opposite corner. Respect the hustle.
Say that again.
Daniel Woods says, whoever Miller fights next, James will be in the opposite corner. Respect the hustle.
The only corner I would be in against Jarrell Miller is Vlad Tsarenko. Yeah, that's the corner I would work against Miller in. So yeah, if that's the case. But Miller didn't say that I wouldn't be in this corner. I think that Miller would invite me back. I think Miller values me as an individual that he can receive knowledge from, that he can build on. He can build his platform on what I'm telling him.
I wonder why China is not getting behind Zhang in boxing. Do they know he's a serious prospect? Do they know boxing country?
Behind Zhang. I think they are.
I think they are.
You know, I've seen an instance where Zhang went into China and the airport was full. Zhang is big news in China. I've seen video of Zhang when he arrived in China and the airport was full up to capacity.
Sorry, Uncle. Vince says, Wilder did an interview today. He's fighting in February or March. He said he admitted he's lost killer instinct, that he has to get it back. He is very accountable.
I think he better get his mojo. He better get his mojo working, you know.
That might be with the wife, I think. At Vince Carter, he says, very accountable. LOI, he blamed inactivity, lack of killer instincts, which he doesn't know, and said Parker has no business beating him. He's laughing.
No, Parker is a pretty humble guy, and he seems to be an easy guy to train. He's not arrogant. He's not ignorant. He's not braggadocious. You know, he's a good fighter, and he has a good head on his shoulder. I think that he's going to go far. I think that off the Deontay Wilder win, that's going to lift Parker up 3-4 notches.
Wilder step up. Sorry.
Big
Wilder.
Like this Earth, Wind, and Fire say, keep your head to the sky. That's where Parker is now.
Okay. Lekin says, Wilder stepped up and got outboxed the same way Ortiz outboxed him, the same way Spilka outboxed him, and the same way Fury was outboxing him.
Yeah. you remember what's his name from California? Washington, Gerald Washington.
Yes.
He was beating Wilder.
I said what would happen. I said for 4 rounds or 3-4 rounds, Washington will come forward and he'll back Wilder up, and then he'll run out of steam, and then Wilder will ping him, and that's exactly what happened.
What would get me is when people get hit by the Wilder shot, it seems like they're standing there waiting for it. They're boxing and they're boxing in a manner is that I know that the right hand's coming, and I'm going to be right there for it. Man, I would be boxing, and I would say, yeah. And in the back of my mind, I said, yeah, I know you're ready to throw the right hand. And I'd be behind Wilder before he can throw the right hand. I'd be right. He'd be looking for me, and I'd be behind him.
It's the ones that stand right in front of him and feel that they can slip the right hand and do something, and they've never slipped the right hand in their life. Like Dominic Brazil, that's probably the worst one.
Yeah, that was. Or Ortiz.
The first one was, I think the second one was worse than the first one.
Lord have mercy.
I said to people, oh yeah, Ortiz has got a haircut now. Ortiz is looking good. I said, wait, just wait. One right hand, it's all over. And exactly what happened. Boom.
Well, we got to see what happens now.
Wilder's best performance has been in the mid 225-ish pre-Fury fights. Your thoughts, Uncle?
Say it again, please.
Wilder's best performances have been in the mid 220-ish pre-Fury fights.
Yeah. When he's knocking everybody out, yeah. I mean, how could you go wrong when you're knocking people out?
Lose weight and come down to your lowest weight.
I just think that he has no business at 213. You know, I just that's out the window. Not in today's heavyweight era.
Well,
in the 70s, 80s, that was fine, but not now.
That also dismisses the belief that Wilder could lose weight and fight at bridgerweight, because he can't.
He is a bridgerweight.
Can't fight at bridgerweight, Uncle. Can't take no more weight off than that.
But I'm
and
saying,
fight effectively.
But just saying, super cruiserweight, bridgerweight, he's right in there right now. Wilder is a bridgerweight, a super cruiserweight at 213.
But effective. He's not effective, though, as we've seen.
Well, we'll have to see what goes on in the next fights that's coming up.
It says Joyce is food for Wilder's right hand.
Yeah, that too. Joyce can land something before he gets hit with the right hand. Then it can get really exciting.
Yep. Joyce Miller?
Yeah, Joyce Miller, that's a good fight too. That's a really good fight.
Wilder Ngannou.
Ngannou is too strong for Wilder.
Yeah.
Even though I think that Wilder would do good with the right hand versus Ngannou, I think Ngannou too strong for him. And Ngannou himself.
Yes, too strong. The people that said the card was terrible probably bet and lost a lot of money. It's a good point, Lekin.
I think that they need to make 3 more of these cards in succession, one behind the other, because I think that's good for boxing.
Yeah.
Just keep putting the big names in there versus the big names, because it takes too long in modern boxing for the big names to come together.
Zhang versus Kabayel.
No, I want to see Zhang and AJ. That's the fight I want to see, not Kabayel. I don't want to see that fight. I want to see AJ versus Zhang.
Ruiz versus Wilder.
Ruiz versus Wilder. I'd like to see that too.
Dubois Zhang.
Dubois Zhang. Good fight. Good matchup. Dubois versus Zhang. That's a good matchup. I'd like to see that. I like Daniel Dubois in the mix with any one of them. I think he belongs there.
Check this one out. Zhang beats them all. Laughed my head off. AJ and Usyk outbox slow Zhang easily.
I'd still like to see it. I still like to see it. I like to see Zhang versus anybody in that top 5.
Genuinely believe if Hrgovic can put it all together, he'll win his title shot. Hrgovic, Joshua, who wins?
Interesting fight, 50-50.
Oh God.
50-50. Because you don't know what Joshua is going to show up.
We saw the Joshua that's going to show up against WALLIN.
What styles make fights, though.
Yeah, now Eddie Hearn said he's unbeatable now.
Fights.
That he's unbeatable. He'd smash Fury. He'd do this. He'll do that. Based on the WALLIN fight.
What better guy to put him in with than Zhang, because he just finished boxing a southpaw in WALLIN. So yeah, come back and put him in with Zhang, because Zhang is a southpaw too. Let's see what happens.
They ain't doing that. There's no way in hell they're doing that. They want their money off wager.
But it don't cost us nothing to wish.
Of course.
If I was the matchmaker, that's the match I'd try to make.
JARRELL Pataya is special. I think he is. JARRELL Pataya, the cruiserweight.
Yeah, he's nice. He's nice. He's a quiet guy. Nope, that he's coming into his own.
I'd like to see him and Riakporhe fight.
You know, Pataya, I think that they made the Saudis made a deal with him to bring him into on their cars all the time.
Wow. If he does what he did there, then yeah, definitely.
Lord, he hit that guy with a good shot. Put him down and out. Game over. That's
how you dismiss people that are not on your level.
Yeah.
AJ already outboxed him in the amateurs. Zhang. That's only 3 rounds, though. Or 4 rounds.
The amateurs. Let's see what happens in the pros.
Well, Henry Tillman outboxed Mike Tyson in the amateurs and got sparked in a round by Mike Tyson in the pros. So that doesn't mean much. Usyk would outbox him. Not so much AJ. Okay.
Yeah,
JARRELL Pataya special.
Like stealing some rounds and stuff, you know. But Zhang is a hot contender. I'd like to see him in there with anybody in that top 5.
Uncle, do you have a top 5 trainers list? And where would you put Andy Lee?
I'm staying away from that. I'm a trainer, so I can't.
Okay. I get that.
But Andy Lee is only training one guy. I got to see what Andy Lee does with multiple guys.
Okay.
You know, you can't really judge a trainer if you saying 1, maybe 2 guys. You can't really judge who they are until you see them work with multiple guys. The results of his hands involved with multiple guys.
Goes here. Yeah, Daniel Wood says, Wallin felt the power went into his shell. He literally had no advantages over AJ. Smaller, slower, shorter arms, less powerful, and less world experience out of his depth. I was surprised. I really was surprised. But then it makes you think about now Tyson Fury. He didn't look great against Otto Wallin. He had the Ngannou fight. He didn't look great. Where is Tyson Fury's place in heavyweight boxing and world heavyweight boxing and legacy boxing?
The jury is still out on Tyson Fury. That's my opinion. The jury is still out on Tyson Fury.
There's some questions I have to ask you about this Fury-Usyk fight. And I was saying that since Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder, he's kept that same style, stand upright, and trying to bully everybody. And then he tried to bully Ngannou the same way, and it almost cost him. Now he's got Usyk, and he's going to use that same, probably use that same style against Usyk. And his father said, if he doesn't change his style, it's going to be like when Michael Spinks fought
Larry Holmes.
Jerry Cooney.
Jerry Cooney.
He said Jerry Cooney was a big guy, tried to walk down Spinks, and Spinks was much smaller, and he just pinged him. He was there. Just pinged him all over the place. And that's what he thinks Usyk's going to do to Fury.
That's the boxing, and that's what I would have him to do against Tyson Fury. Outspeed him, outpoint him, hit and go, move and groove all the time, move. Don't allow Tyson to lay his weight on him. You know, that's what I'm anticipating that Usyk is going to do. And by the time Tyson Fury tries to wake up, it'll be too late.
Okay. AJ literally outboxed and dropped Zhang in the Olympics.
Let's see what happens in the pros.
It don't work like that in the pro boxing, unfortunately. I've said that already. Not always.
Zhang is coming into his own as a professional boxer.
Same chin, same skills. He dropped Zhang hard. Not one of these soft amateur knockdowns. AJ Wallin was exactly the same in the pros as the amateurs. Let's say something here. Andy Ruiz got knocked out by... Who did he get knocked out in the amateurs by? Michael Hunter knocked out Andy Ruiz in the amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
No.
Who's saying it? I don't think Michael Hunter will knock Andy Ruiz in pros, though. Do you believe that?
No.
No, there you go. There you go. What happened to Michael Hunter, Uncle?
I think Michael Hunter is still working behind the scenes. I think also that I expected Michael Hunter to come to fruition.
Yeah, last year.
I don't know what happened to his career. Again, lack of this, lack of that. Whatever the case, he didn't come to the forefront of boxing where he should have been with his skills. He should have been the forefront of boxing.
It was that Povetkin fight, to be honest, when he came in the sort of shape he came in for the Povetkin fight.
To get a draw in that fight.
Should have beaten Povetkin.
I thought that Povetkin dropped him no one called a knockdown, but I thought that was a knockdown in the fight. Then the kid Jerry, I forget his name, Jerry, he out drawed with Michael Hunter. So I think that Michael Hunter has not come to the forefront of boxing the way I anticipated that he would.
Okay.
But he's still a solid contender, though.
We all have our opinions. No problem with that. AJ got faster feet than Zhang. He could stick and move to a decision. Zhang's best chance is a slugfest because he clearly hits extremely hard.
Like I say, a lot of things can happen between 1 and 12 rounds in a fight. I still want to see the fight.
So it says here, I personally don't think AJ can beat Usyk or Frank Sanchez or even an old AJ or even if the old AJ came back.
Mm.
The AJ that was learning on the job, remember?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I know one thing. You can't judge one fight by what happened in another.
Mm-hmm.
There's that kind of entity where you can't say something that you can compare one fight and think you can get the same results in another fight.
It's very hard, no doubt, but objectively, AJ's faster and moves better. Zhang has more one-punch power. He does. Goes here. What Zhang did to Joyce was more impressive than any of Wilder's KOs, in my opinion.
Yes, that was very impressive. That was
Check this one out, Uncle. See my husband's.
I like Zhang and Wilder.
No, I don't like that fight. No, sorry, not at all. Not at all.
I like it.
Because what Zhang will just walk Wilder down, just so big and so strong. I just don't see Zhang versus Ngannou. I'd like to see. That's a fight. Both guys punch hard. Both guys are physically strong.
Yeah, that's a good fight, but I still like Wilder because Wilder got that TNT. You know,
and Ngannou has not got TNT.
Yeah. Wilder versus anybody, you know, is exciting because you never know when he's going to
drop. Which Wilder? The Wilder that fought last night or 2 nights ago. I don't want to see that Wilder fight anybody. I thought that Wilder has to retire. So which Wilder you talk about, Uncle? The one that fought the other night against Joseph Parker?
Like he said, I'm not as fired up as I used to be. Yeah. So maybe he's changing.
You don't want that guy. You want that Wilder to fight against his killers.
You got to put Wilder in the fights that matter, and you'll find out what he's made out of, what he wants to do. Put him in another fight. Put him in there versus Zhang. Put him in there versus anybody in that top 10 right now, and you'll find out what Wilder's made out of. Whether that was just a fluke the other night, or whether that's a sign of thing.
I think Wilder's wife has mellowed him out. He's mellowed, and his wife or his partner has mellowed him out. She's had too much of that, and smoking. He was smoking the weed before that. Remember, he got caught busted in his car with cannabis before the Fury fight. So I mean, there's only so much of that you can smoke, and then after that, going and smoking that stuff, the other stuff he smoked, which is mind altering. So you got Joshua going in his dark rooms and Wilder smoking his brains out. I don't know. I think Wilder's finished, to be honest. No professional in their but no professional in their right mind. You complain about not getting paid enough money, right? Or you should be treated like a diva. Now the Saudis have come in, you're smoking your head off. For what? This is a place where you can make real money. Or unless Wilder believes that he's not as good as he says he is, and now he's getting found out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that now's the wrong time to smoke anything right now. I think, because, in boxing, I tell Blachowicz and Yiga Plevecko all the time, boxing is like a window. It opens, and you better get inside that window before it closes. Because when those windows close, sometimes they can close for a long time. So you need to jump inside the window and try to get in the mix, get money while you can get money. And now is a great time because the Saudis are spending a lot of money to make boxing come back to the forefront of sports.
You know a guy who I'd like to see box? Cheney. That guy looks really good.
Yeah.
He looks very good technically. And he can punch as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Caster's training. I know what you're talking about.
I rate him. And there's another dude. I think he's Latin American or what, but he's fighting like Mike Tyson and he's just knocking dudes out. Then you know who the guy is, American.
Yeah, but I don't think he's a heavyweight.
You don't think he's a heavyweight, meaning that the weight division he's in, or the fact that he's so small?
Wait. I know you know.
Yeah, that dude, Torres. Torres is his name, Richard Torres.
Oh, Richard Torres, yeah.
I rate that dude highly.
Yeah, he can get in that. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good heavyweights that's out there.
Jesus. That Richard Torres, I'd like to see him in Saudi Arabia. Richard Torres, I like that dude. There's something about him. It seems all business.
I can see him in the mix, though. He's an exciting fighter, yeah.
Oh, okay, let me ask you a question. Richard Torres, Vlad Tsarenko. Do you want it?
No.
No.
Because I don't think that we can get the money that fight would be worth.
That guy, Richard Torres. Seen the way he's sleeping these guys.
Good fighter, but I don't think he's no better than Vlad Tsarenko. I think that we need to get paid for that fight. I'm trying to make sense. I don't want to put my guy in a fight, 4 million. I want to get 3-4 million. I want to get for that fight because that fight is going to generate. It's going to be a lot of wear and tear to win that fight.
You know, I need to start getting my collection of fighters together again. I had a good collection of fighters: Usyk, Thurman, Fury, Crawford. Who else I have? I think 3 or 4 of the guys that I picked all went on to become undisputed. I need to get a new crop of fighters together, Uncle. I think
I'd like to see a Jagba over there in Saudi. I like
no,
Jagba,
Uncle.
I'd like to see these guys.
Get a Jagba, Uncle,
listen,
man. Get a Jagba. Oh no.
Excuse me. You got to look for chemistry. Chemistry is
Herkovic.
good fights.
Herkovic or Jagba.
Good fight.
There you go.
That's an exciting fight.
I can't forgive a Jagba.
Good action-packed fight.
He stunk the place out against Frank Sanchez.
The Jagba break versus Frank Sanchez.
Yeah, they fought and he stunk the joint out against Frank Sanchez at Jagba.
Oh yeah, they fought already.
Yeah, and he stunk the joint out.
Oh god.
A Jagba. That's why I don't want to see him again. A Jagba, Andy Ruiz. Let's see that fight. That's a good fight. Ruiz is going to bring it to him, and a Jagba has to keep him off him. Jagba stuck the joint out really badly. All right, I don't want to see a Jagba. No, he's got to fight someone. If he's going to fight someone, he's going to take it to him.
The Saudis has given boxing a big opportunity to establish themselves as a leading sport in sports. They're giving them the platform. Let's hope that these heavyweight fighters can go over there and live up to the opportunity that they're being given.
Goes here. If Wilder still has the power, I think he could knock out Ngannou because Ngannou is slow and static. Massive payday, and he will have bragging rights over Fury. But if he gets clipped,
yes, it's a dangerous fight.
I wouldn't take it. There's legacy there being messed with there.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it. I think Ngannou needs to get back in training right now. I think he's living off that last fight for too long. I think he needs to get back in training and call out some of these guys.
Uncle, Tim Hoffman asks, what does Uncle think about MAKMUDOV? He broke his hand in the second fight, so he had to go for broke and gassed himself out. He'll be back and becoming champion. Oh, Lord.
I don't think nothing. I haven't seen MAKMUDOV enough. I saw him the other night, and he didn't look too good. I wasn't too impressed with him.
He was going life and death with Takam, and that was it for me.
Right.
But, you know, got to give him a second chance, I guess. Stunning show tonight with Mr. Bashir. Grateful.
Yes, I'm grateful to be here.
Torres is good, says Jay Roos. Shout out, Jay Roos. He also says Torres future champion. Let's hope so.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I'm not that big on him. I mean, he's a good fighter, but I'm not that big on him to say that he could be the champion.
Jollof is the future. He sparked Torres in amateurs. What do you think?
Oh, who? Torres.
Jalolov is the future. He sparked Torres in amateurs.
Like I said, I saw Richard Torres, but not enough for me to make an assessment on him.
Does Uncle want Vlad to fight Jalolov?
I don't know
him. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. You don't take that chance.
No, I'm not. I mean, I've gotten my guy to 19-0, and that didn't come easy. That did not come easy. There were some risky fights here and there just to get 19-0. I don't want to throw all of the progress that we've made by putting them in a fight, you know, that we shouldn't be in at this time.
I don't. Big Baby Anderson is another one. I think he's been rushed. Your thoughts?
Well, he has to be. I mean, Anderson is 35 years old. I mean, Big Baby Anderson?
Big Baby Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, he's 30. Oh, no, he's younger. No. Yeah, I think that sometimes these young men are considered to be loose cannons.
Ah,
And so the investors are saying, we got to get what we can get out of this guy before he
as quick
blows,
as possible. Yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
he blows us back, you know? And,
Aha, that makes sense.
and Anderson is one of those guys.
Yeah, I can see that.
The young guy, and he's always involved in something. So yeah,
I
they're gonna.
think you know who Anderson reminds me of. Do you remember Seth Mitchell?
Yeah, but Seth wasn't.
Seth
Seth
was
was,
knocking. Seth was knocking dudes out.
yeah, but Seth wasn't disorderly. Seth was a little more focused. I think he's a Secret Service guy now.
Who's Seth Mitchell?
Seth Mitchell has worked for the Secret Service now. I'm believing.
Wow, wow. I used to have him on my show a few. Had my show a few times. Seth Mitchell, who is still unbeaten, and he fought Jonathan Banks.
Yes. Jonathan Banks knocked him out, then came back and lost to Seth Mitchell.
Yeah. Man, I think that was the end of Seth Mitchell, wasn't it?
Huh?
I think that was the end of Seth Mitchell, wasn't it? After that fight.
Well, the Seth Mitchell I'm talking about is a Secret Service guy now, and I think that this is the Jonathan Banks knocked him out one fight and then rematched him and lost in the rematch.
Yeah, and I think that was the last time we saw Jonathan Banks as well. Although he said he never retired, but
yeah, Banks retired. What is he going to do now? It's not. It doesn't make sense for him to even attempt to come back now.
yeah.
Been out too long, and you got a bunch of brand new heavyweights out there that would give him hell.
Because Desert Island disc fight for Mr. Bashir, if you could choose one to watch. One fight for you to watch, Uncle Bashir, on an island. You've got to take one fight with you on the island. What would you watch?
Oh, man. I'd say Alexis Aguayo versus Aaron Pryor won.
Okay. Why? Of all the fights in the world, why?
Technique, aggression, defense, offense. They did it all. They showed it all. Hard. They showed it all.
I would probably take Eric Morales versus Barrera first fight. The build up and then that fight.
Yeah, I can see that.
12 rounds and back and
Sanchez
forth.
versus Danny Red Lopez won. You know.
Yeah.
Sanchez versus Azuma Nelson. You know.
Oh.
So it's a lot of artistry going on in those fights.
Azuma Nelson versus, is it the Australian Jeff Finnick?
Finnick, yeah.
Oh, the phone. That's the first time I learned about the phone booth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight him in the phone booth if he wants it. Finnick, Azuma Nelson. That was good.
Yeah.
We've got one here for you. Ishmael Ahmed says, ask Uncle, does he want Vlad to sign to a promotional company like Matchroom or Queensbury? I think UK promoters are better for heavyweights. That'd be an interesting question because I kind of half know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Like Blasterica to sign with the Saudis.
That's smart, man. His Excellency.
Because I think that the Saudis is what they're doing is they're introducing boxing to the fans of boxing like no one else has, like America and Britain. They've been dilly-dallying with these fights for years. But the Saudis are saying, look, let's put the money on the wood to make the betting go good. I want you and you in the ring, and ain't nobody complaining. No one's complaining because the money is there. The whole thing at the end of the day is about cash.
Did the drug trip affect Wilder's performance?
The what?
The drug trip. You know, he went to smoke stuff. He said it makes him, he's not at peace with himself.
He went to smoke what, weed?
Stronger than weed, mind altering.
Would you say it's mind altering?
Yes.
Then what is weed?
Well, Well, not as mind because he's been boxing for years with weed. Even when he fought Wilder, when he's fighting Fury, he's had weed. But mind altering is where you come in and you're nice with everybody.
Listen,
You're very nice with everybody.
I have smoked it, but I don't smoke it now.
No, that's weed. What he smoked was 3 times as powerful as weed.
Oh Lord, he found something what 3 times more powerful than weed. I'm saying good luck to I'm telling Deontay, good luck with that.
And that's why he's questioning whether he still got it anymore, because that stuff has altered his brain. He don't know who he is anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to smoke that and try to be a boxer.
Maybe he thought he was on holiday in Saudi Arabia. And then realized in the ring, hold on, somebody's whipping my ass here. What's going on?
Oh man, the night went so quick, you know. I got a call from the front desk and say, hey man, it's time for you to go to the airport. It's time for you to get up out of here.
Wow.
Man, I had to get up and pack my clothes and shower and all of this stuff. I said, oh man, I don't want to. I was just trying to see how I could stay 3 more days so I can just discover the town, so I could just drive around the town and discover stuff, you know.
Yeah, right, Uncle.
But here I am, you know.
Some talent scouting. Yes.
Look, good talking to you, brother.
Uncle, we still got people here asking questions. We've got a good house tonight. You have to go longer.
Let's get to getting.
Vlad versus this is a good fight. Vlad versus Fabio Wardley or Fraser Clark.
Oh, that Fabio Wardley and Vlad Serenko, that would be a hot fight. I'd like to do that fight right now.
That's a great fight, huh?
That's a great fight. Fabio Wardley versus Vlad Serenko is a great fight right now. I'd like to do that fight right now. But I think that Vlad needs a couple of fights to get back in the mix. He's been out for a while, so he needs a fight. I wouldn't put him in.
I told you, Mark Demori.
Now, Wardley would be too much of a fight right now.
Mark Demori.
Any of those guys, I think Vlad needs a lighter warm up. You know, the test.
Are you Mark Demori's uncle? You're the one who said that David Hay found
David Hay, yeah.
Yeah, he found it out of the yellow pages. Mark Demori.
Yeah.
So, would you look in the yellow pages for Mark Demori to fight Serenko?
Has he been in any fights with him?
He just fought Herkovich.
Oh yeah, okay, the other night. Yeah, I think that Vlad can fight Mark Demori.
There you go. See, Mark Demori, wherever you are, let's get you in February. Wilder always has the most elaborate excuses. Apparently, he went too long in the chirotherapy. Does anybody know what is the chirotherapy? Let me read this up. What chirotherapy is? I got to Google this stuff. Let me get chirotherapy because I read it myself. I didn't know what it was. I was about to say it was a form of cryotherapy is a treatment where your health provider applies extreme cold to freeze and destroy abnormal tissue. To create this severe cold, your provider will use a substance like liquid nitrogen or argon gas.
You see what I was talking about? The old school, new school. I'm like
nonsense.
I'm like, okay, if you think that's necessary, fine. I'm just not into that day. Go in the ring and fight. You're in the ring for at most 45 minutes. Okay, go in the ring, do your job, and go home. You know, all the other stuff on it. It's basically
a cold, like a cold shot, like a cold.
It's some psychological stuff. All right, psychological stuff. That's something going on in your brain that you need that BS.
Well, I don't know whether he did that. He did that pre-smoke or after smoke.
Yeah, no offense to those who use it. I just don't believe in that stuff.
Yeah, I get you.
I feel fine. Okay, that's an indication that you are fine. Let's go to work.
The only time I believe in that stuff is when you're looking for your body to recover. That stuff there, you're going in and you're getting cold and to heal up injuries. But other than that, no, thank you. But although they do use it after you've done training sessions and you're sore, to take the soreness out, they put you in those sort of those things. So they have their uses, but it's how you use it. Ask Uncle how he enjoyed Saudi Arabia in comparison to USA.
I enjoyed Saudi Arabia. One thing I enjoyed in Saudi is I didn't encounter a lot of crime, and that's one thing I enjoy over America, because America has a slap on the wrist attitude about crime.
Yeah,
Saudi is not having that. You don't have to do all that. Murder, rape, robbery, armed robbery, that kind of stuff. If it's going on in Saudi, it's on the down low, because they got a no tolerance situation there in Saudi. So I enjoyed it.
wow.
Very comfortable.
There's a video.
Ease in the ignition.
There's a video on ESN News with him and his team arguing with a Saudi about the ice bath. I think that's what the excuse stems from.
Who, Deontay?
Yeah, he stayed in it too long, so I understand.
Ah.
A lot of athletes use it to help with recovery. Yep. For rest and recovery, yes. Wilder's doing everything but improving. Yeah, that's true. It shouldn't negatively impact performance. Saudi is very strict to keep the poor people hidden. They perform evil deeds against the poor and their migrant domestic servants. Your thoughts, Uncle?
I don't know enough about that to comment on that. Could be true, could be false. I don't know.
Who wins between Haney and Tank Davis?
It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. Boxer versus Tank can box better than what he's being given credit for.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good fight. Either way it shapes up. It's one that I'd sit down to watch.
Garcia versus Haney.
Another one I'd sit down to watch because of the chemistry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would.
They build stadiums in 90 days. How else then migrant labor working slave hours? I've heard a lot about that. I've heard a lot about it.
Say it again.
It says here, they build stadiums in 90 days. How else then migrant labor working slave hours?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people there, mostly the African and Philippine people who were there for labor.
Wow.
You know, I saw that in the airport. You know, I observed that in the airport on the planes. It was full of African and Philippine workers.
Check this out. In the video, the attendant is counting down the time for Wilder to get out the ice bath, and he ignores it. I'm not joking. ES News YouTube channel. So he was in the ice chamber longer than he should have been.
Who put him in there for longer than he should have been?
He was on smoke probably. He was probably out of his mind. And he was probably in there off his rocker in there. And when the lady, whoever was trying to pull him out, he didn't respond. That's what I would assume. Mild altering. That's the only excuse I can give. I think Matev knocks out Bivol, even Lyndon. Arthur hurt Lyndon to the body. Asked Uncle, yep. Correct on tape. There you go. See, he's on. So he's probably out of it. He was completely out of it. Wilder. So they got African, South Asians for construction and Filipinos for made domestic work. Yeah, that's about right. No surprise there. Uncle, in closing, any thoughts on Usyk Fury as we look forward to that in February?
I think that Usyk wins that fight. You know, I think that he wins that fight. I don't think that Tyson Fury's size and weight and reach and all those things, I don't think they're going to play into that there. I think that Alexander Usyk is smart enough and clever enough to do what he has to do to pull out the decision in that fight.
And if he becomes undisputed, where do you rate him then? In terms of all-time greats?
I put him right there with Holyfield, Mike Tyson.
Really? Holyfield and Mike Tyson.
Holyfield and Mike Tyson. They're right. Holyfield and Mike Tyson are right below those all-time top 5. I don't think that qualifies him to break into the top 5.
Undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion, beats
Right.
a guy
But
long rating.
Heavyweight champion. He remember Lennox Lewis, Joe Lewis, Lennox Lewis, George Foreman. These guys were knocking people out, and that means something. Even though you've achieved all of these things, the KO. When you see KO at the end of those, that means.
But Ali didn't have all them KOs, and he's considered a great.
You look at Ali had a lot of. Look at Ali's record right now. Muhammad Ali, Ali wasn't considered a puncher, but look at the KOs he got. Look at his record right now. Muhammad Ali had a lot of KOs. He had a lot of KOs, yeah. So that established him, and the fact that Muhammad Ali fought Kenny Norton 3 times. Joe Frazier.
56 fights, 37 KOs.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, but Mike Tyson, who's his best win? Who's Mike Tyson's? You're talking Mike Tyson. Who's Mike Tyson's best win at heavyweight? You have to start thinking about it.
I think that the Razor Ruddock fight proved Mike Tyson.
Razor Ruddock never won a world title.
Yeah, but those were brutal fights.
Yeah, he could be as brutal as they want. He can be brutal as they want, but no, Mike Tyson doesn't qualify for me as an all-time great. No. And then you're going to put Usyk. Usyk, he'll be beating Tyson Fury. And remember, that's 2 weight divisions. These guys have done it in 1 weight division. He's done it in 2 weight divisions.
Well, Evander Holyfield did the same thing.
Who's the better boxer, Holyfield or Usyk? And I'm a Holyfield fan.
I think Usyk is the better boxer than Holyfield.
Okay. And the guys that beat Holyfield, let's put them on paper. The guys who beat Holyfield, Chris Bird doesn't beat Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, but when Chris Bird beat Holyfield, Holyfield was an old shoe.
All right, okay then. Michael Moorer, Alexander Usyk. Michael Moorer doesn't beat Alexander Usyk. Have that one, Michael Moorer. Burt Cooper.
Come
on, Uncle. Burt Cooper.
I don't think that Holyfield. Wait. Burt Cooper. Burt Cooper was a tough fight for Michael Moorer. He established it, and he went down twice.
Mm-hmm.
And he got up and he knocked him out. This is what I'm talking about, Holyfield lost to Michael Moorer and then came back and knocked Michael Moorer out. Michael Moorer had his share of tips. That's why I say you got to put him right there on that shelf, because at different times they showed up and they fought. They came to fight.
Okay.
And they were knocked out, or they were getting knockouts.
People that so you gotta say the people that he's fought at heavyweight, Usyk, is Joshua and Dubois and Chisora. And if he becomes undisputed, he would have beaten Fury. So he would have beaten all the British fighters.
Yeah. I just don't see him in the top in that top 10. George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, Joe Lewis.
Yeah, there's a problem there.
There's a big problem.
Lewis versus Usyk. Best of Lewis, best of Usyk. Although Lewis never fought with Harpool as a pro.
I think Lewis wins the fight. I think he wins a decision over Alexander Usyk. Because Lennox Lewis knew his power, and he was going to excel in that fight to establish his power versus he wouldn't be like Joshua. Joshua laid back trying to box, but Usyk is going. I mean, but Lennox Lewis is going to try to get the
jump
KO.
on him. He'll jump on him.
Yeah, I don't think that Alexander could hold Lennox off.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try and sell this Usyk thing again to you at some point.
Okay, come on back. Mind you, I Alexander Usyk.
I know. Ben Whittaker.
Ben Whittaker.
Yeah, the guy who Sugar Hill's training now from the UK. Does all the dancing, all that stuff, and they call him the new Naz.
Training everybody, you know.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Ben Whittaker?
Not a single thing.
Not a single thing. Okay, let's have this to you before we end. What does Uncle think about showboating in mismatches? Does it help build interest or too disrespectful to the sport? It's the Ben Whittaker thing.
I think showboating is great when it's useful, when it's applicable. But if it's not useful, I think showboating is out the window. It's BS.
All right. Uncle Bashir, thank you so much for your time. Sorry for keeping you as long.
Send me some info on this guy, Ben Whittaker, and I'll take a look at him. And next time we talk, I'll have something for you.
Oh dear. I've got half an idea of what you're going to say already, but I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
I know what you're going to say. I'm not going to reveal it. I'll send the tape to you. Just as the process, I'll send it to you and say nothing. And I'll write a list of stuff down what I think you're going to say and see if you say it. And we'll save it for our viewers.
Okay.
Do you have a message to the viewers today? Any thoughts?
Hey, man, keep on supporting boxing. Boxing needs knowledgeable people, not just fans, not just bucket people. We need knowledgeable fans to support boxing. And keep giving your input to help the sport along, because boxing is always in need of help. Because there's the so-called people in boxing that think that they know boxing that really don't know boxing. So keep up with the support.
Are you in support of Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting in Saudi Arabia?
I wish Manny Pacquiao would retire before he gets hurt.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
You know, I love Manny Pacquiao, you know, and I don't want to see him get hurt. You can't come back. You can't make but so many comebacks, and he's an old guy now at the weight class he's fighting in. So I don't want to see him get hurt by one of these young guys, you know, irreversibly hurt, you know. So
there was a little talk of Roy Jones Jr. coming back and fighting Tommy Fury, but that fight has been scrapped now. 56-year-old Roy Jones Jr. And by the way, just to close, I think it was a 58 or 59-year-old came back to box, got knocked out in one round.
Saw that. He got knocked out, right?
He couldn't even throw a straight jab properly. What business? Who allowed that to happen?
But why would sanctioning bodies even give them the go on that kind of stuff? I mean, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
You know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to get killed. Somebody's going to get killed. You know, somebody's going to get killed, and then they're going to understand that there's a time and a season for everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's a, you know, I go in the gym now and I feel my Cheerios too. I jump up and down, I hit the bag, speed bag, heavy bag, and I start feeling good. And I start getting the idea that, hey, I still can go 3 rounds. Hey, I can still go 4 rounds until I get hit.
And then reality sits in.
I get it. I can see my hand go up and say, wait a minute, hold it, wait a minute, stop, wait a minute.
Let me talk to you.
Reality comes back to mind saying, that your time has come and gone. Get over here and talk. All right? Get over here and talk, because this is not your time. You're going to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. I want to live the rest of my life normal. I don't want to be walking around looking like the letter Z, you know?
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Uncle Bashir, thank you so much for your time as always, and we'll come back to you very soon.
You just hit God, Ben, so I can take a look.
I'll send you Ben Davidson, Ben Whitaker. I'll send you straight away.
All right.
Good night, Uncle.
Good night.
Thank you all for watching.
All the people in the listening audience, thank you for listening to it. Thank you for paying homage to this program. And I look forward to seeing you all again, God willing.
Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.